welcome back to my little series of how to start a clothing brand. In this video, we will be discussing pricing and finances. I think a lot of people who run businesses, personally for me, that's the funnest part because that's how much I see I'm gonna make. But for some people who are more creative and don't enjoy that part as much, it might be the boring part. But it's a vital part of the business. It doesn't help if you are running a business but your pricing is all wrong and you are running at a loss. I think it's the worst thing you can do as a business because business's main purpose is to be profitable, right? Right. Okay. So this one doesn't really have a whole lot of steps and things. It's just me talking you through a free pricing chart or sheet I'm going to be supplying for you guys to help you with your pricing. It basically, I'm looking at it now because that's how I've got it. I've got notes, you know this, it's nothing new. But basically, you put in all your costs. It'll depend whether you are using the reselling model when you're buying a whole product, complete product, or if you are producing, your costing might be different. The principle will be the same though, is that you have to encompass and include all your costs in order to come up with a cost price and then add your percentage or your markup in order to make profit. The best part about running a business. So on the spreadsheet that I will be providing for you, basically it goes through various types of costs. In my one, I've got 8 costs which vary between fabric, zip, thread, labor, shipping, bank charges, and packaging. I think some people overlook these things, but these things are vital for your product. And you calculate them in various ways. So your fabric, if you are producing items in bulk, you obviously are going to buy fabric in bulk. You might achieve a discount for that, but when calculating, I think don't calculate it as a discount. Well, it might be better to calculate it as a discount so you can see how much more margin you're making as opposed to not being discounted. So the spreadsheet I'm going to share with you basically has 8 items on the cost, which vary between fabric, zips, labor, packaging, bank charges, you name it, and other costs. There's a column even for other costs. I don't know what they might be, or it might be embroidery if you're having your brand embroidered. Who knows? But that might be labor. It depends, really. You can add more columns if you wish, you can subtract columns, but the point of the exercise is to include and encompass all your costs in order to come up with one cost price, which you will then use to calculate your selling price. So how I do it is that because I produce, I will put in my fabric cost, I will put in my zip cost because a lot of my garments have zips. Oh yes, and obviously, like always, I'm wearing one of my own clothes. This is my Madison dress, which sold out a while ago. But I'm here with the aim of looking smart because we are calculating today, and a blazer and all of the sorts. We are serious today. Well, I suppose we are every other day, but you know what I mean. So you'll include your fabric cost, your zip, your labor, all your costs that go into producing each item. And then what you'll do is that you'll get a total cost, which is in column K, and that is how much it costs you to make the one item. If you are producing through someone else and they give you one round figure and say it'll cost you 3,000 Rand to make 20 dresses, then what you do is that you take the 3,000 Rand, divide by 20 dresses. I don't have a calculator. whatever the amount is, you would then put in a labor cost for each dress. So the spreadsheet that I've created basically is per unit. I'm not calculating on a bulk level, it is literally per item. So that is how you would get your labor cost. If you purchased fabric for about 5,000 Rand and you're making 20 dresses, I use Excel to do my calculations, guys. This is why I use Excel. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to calculate it, which is not good, but it's the truth. So whatever, let me give myself easy numbers, okay? Let's say you're making 10 dresses and your fabric cost 2,000 Rand for your fabric. So that'll be 2,000 Rand divided by 10 dresses, which will work out to 200 Rand per dress for fabric. Then you'll find that you got your zips for 20 Rand each, but because you bought straight from the supplier and you got a discount, maybe they ended up being 15 Rand, so 15 Rand per zip. And then for myself, because I run an online store, cost 6 for me is shipping. For me, it's a standard 99 Rand, because whether I'm using Aramex, Postnet, which links, that's another video that's going to come up of how to run an online store with all those supplies who are going to help you. But whichever platform I'm using, it goes in there and it's always 99 Rand. It's a standard for me. And then packaging. Packaging is something some people don't include in the cost, I think. I don't know why. Maybe they do, I don't know. But it's very important. Even if you are putting it in a plastic and putting a sticker on it, and that costs you 5 Rand, go put that in. That 5 Rand isn't going to come from somewhere when you need to buy it. You see what I mean? So you make sure that you include all your costs. And one cost that took me a while to include in my costing sheet was bank charges. Simply because with my online store, it goes through a payment gateway. So the money doesn't come directly to me. It first goes to the company that accepts payments on my behalf, and then I get the money from the business. And they charge their fee for each sale. You see what I mean? So you've got to consider those costs as well. And then in terms of, and that's for me just the pure online business model. If you're running a physical store, I did have a physical store, but I don't think I actually included such overheads in my costing. For me, instead, it would be doing my cost like we are discussing now, and then deciding how many units I have to sell to pay rent. And then that would be informing my promotion strategy and my sales targets, how many I need to cover overheads. And when I've sold this much, I've made profit, and so on and so on and so on. And these are important things that you need to consider when you run a business, because you don't want a business that is going to be taking away from you instead of giving you money. It's the absolute worst, and sometimes it's not as visible because you don't get 50 sales all in one day and you see that you made X amount and everything cost X amount. It happens slowly, and you can miss it. You can. That's the sad part about it. In terms of costing, I think we're great with that part. So what my spreadsheet does is that it'll give you a total cost. And what you will do is then you will come up with a magical number that you want to be your selling price. And then you're going to put it in column B. And then once you've done it from column B, it'll calculate it and tell you how much profit margin is in column L and M. Great. And then you'll either play with your selling price to reach your desired profit margin. So if you find that your profit is only 60 Rand, you might be like, no way, Jose. I am not slaving just to get 60 Rand. So you're going to increase your selling price. But another thing that a good business person will do, not that I do it, I'm still getting there, is to reduce your cost of sales. So if there are ways that you can reduce your cost, whether it's fabric, getting it at a cheaper price, or your labor, having someone do it for cheaper, or negotiating a price, that is definitely the best thing you can do. Another thing that people do is that they allow the customer to pay for courier, which works out well as well. And then your cost is reduced, and then the customer will then pay for the courier to be delivered to them. So there's lots of ways to pick and pull pricing, and it really boils down to what works for you. And if you need help with any of it, guys, please let me know. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm willing. So now we're gonna go into pricing, the second layer of pricing, which is promotions and sales. I think when you do create a price for your product, you always have to have in mind that at some point you might have to put this item on sale. And when you do price, you need to have enough allowance to say that maybe the product was 800 Rand, but because it's Mother's Day, we've reduced it to 600 Rand and we're still making profit. I think that's great because it allows your business to be agile in the sense that if something important is coming up, you can offer a discount and not run at a loss, but still attract sales. Something like Mother's Day, Women's Day, Valentine's Day, I don't know. But that is what it is. What I have found that I prefer more is to offer a free gift with every purchase. People love gifts, guys. We love receiving things, especially if it's free. Even though it might not be free, I promise you, anything that is free is not free. Even for me, when I am giving you a free gift with every purchase, trust me, it is somehow calculated, whether the next batch has paid for it or it is in your cost. Sorry to all my customers, but it's never free. It's never free, okay? Even other companies, when they say free delivery, it's included in some way. It's not free, guys. It's not. And when you start running a business, you realize that things like that entice people, which we'll discuss in a marketing video on how to build excitement and encourage sales, basically. Another part of financing is having invoices. I don't think a lot of people do this, especially those who run their businesses on Facebook or Instagram. Some people might find that, hey, just use your surname as a reference and then I will deliver or send the product to you. But what happens then when you've got 3 sitoles making a payment? Who's who? So that's why I've always found invoicing the best way to manage payments and see who's paid, because if I give you a reference number and you pay using the reference number, I know you've paid. I don't even need to remember your name. I just go back and search for the invoice number and it's done. I do believe that it can be a bit of a nuisance for customers who purchase from you regularly, because every time they make a purchase, they've got to update the reference number, which probably is not fun for them. But once you start having loyal customers, you know their names and they can start using their surnames. But for the initial phase of the business, when you are getting payments from left, right, and center, and you don't have time to remember names and surnames, ensure that they use reference numbers. I also have an invoice template for you guys. It's in Word, and you put in your details, you put in your banking details, but please make sure you always send as a PDF. I don't know why, but whenever I receive an invoice in a Word document, I'm just like, but I can change this, and even though they know their amount, I just feel like it's just too much room for things to change, which I hate. So PDF always. I was going to say something else about invoices. If I remember, I'll probably bring it in the next video. But, oh yes, they make you look so professional, especially if you use your logo. It's just like a great, neat, efficient way to get your pricing and invoices out there. So that's it, guys. I think today was a very short video, but really, pricing is vital. It is the crux of the business. You're here to make money, and you don't want to make money oh no, you don't want to lose money, you want to make money. And you've got to keep track of where your money is coming from in voicing. And that's, I think, about it for today. Please let me know if it was helpful. I feel like it was very short and not helpful, but if you guys have any questions on anything, I'm always here. You can ask them down below. I'm not going to get over the excitement of having a YouTube channel. So every time I have to say this, guys, I'm going to be excited. You can leave them down below. You can like this video if you liked it. You can dislike it if you didn't like it. And please do subscribe and do the notification bell thing, because when new videos come up, I don't think you want to miss out. I think you should definitely watch and see what's coming up. We'll be going through a lot more content as we go, from branding, which I've discussed briefly, social media, the advertising part of it. There's a lot that comes with starting a business, but I hope as I've been taking you guys through it, you've been learning something. Thank you. Bye.